What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Full Blast. I am your host, Raja Burrows, and today we are talking about why the lead consume EPs are fucking awesome. Here's the thing. So I was thinking about how am I going to do this and what am I going to really talk about for this one, because I am naturally going to be incredibly biased on both ends. When I'm talking about the lead consume EPs in particular, because I am an IJ lead blaster. So here is what that means for those who are new to OP. My first function is NI, which is an introverted observer, right? So the introverted observers are NI and SI. And my second savior function is TE, which is an extroverted decider, right? It can either be TE or FE. The lead consume EPs have the exact opposite savior functions, but they're still observers, right? So all EPs have lead OE, right? Whether it's NE or SE, all of them have it. And then half of the EPs have savior DI in the middle. So that's their TI or their FI. So when we're talking about the lead consume EPs, they're like the Joker to my Batman. They are the chaos to my order. And it took me a really, really long time to understand what it is they're trying to do. And once I started to get it, I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. I absolutely need to do more of that and to learn from y'all. Because what it really comes down to for me, and again, I say this with a lot of bias, as someone who is lead OI, tribe-oriented. What I admire so much about the lead consume EPs is their willingness to be curious. That's what's cool to me about those EPs. Because here's the thing. It's not that I can't dance in the rain. I'm actually pretty good at dancing in the rain as long as I'm dancing with other people and it's hitting my, TESE play. Shit, I'll do that all day long. When I was working a more corporate job, I was the guy who always wanted to be in meetings. I fucking love meetings. I love meetings. Meetings are my favorite because there's there's probably a little blasty blast happening. And if there's a discussion, it's like, hey, I have this idea. Let me throw you the ball. You catch the ball, you take it, you throw the ball to someone else, and we're doing the thing. We're back and forth. We're batting around ideas. It's fucking amazing. So I'm super good with that. But where I really struggle is doing that kind of dancing in the rain and play gathery type of stuff for myself. That's real tough for me. And the lead consume EPs, they're just good at it. Like, there's no other way to put it. They are so adept at gathering for themselves. And it's something that, on job applications, a lot of times, they'll ask how self-motivated are you? How self-directed are you? And I never really know how to answer that because my impulse is to say, not very. Because truthfully, I do not consider myself a very self-motivated person most of the time. If there is something, if a tribe member needs me, if my boss is like, hey, so I'm working on this thing, would you do me a favor? Sometime before tomorrow afternoon, would you just run the numbers on this? Would you do some research, see if this plan is even feasible? Because I'm meeting with this person tomorrow and I want to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. Oh my God. I am stupid good at that. I'm stupid good at that because another tribe member needs me. Great, I get that hit of dopamine just from a tribe member asking me to do something. It's crazy. I love it. But what that ends up often meaning for me is that rarely will I seek out something new simply because I feel like it, because it interests me, because I want to build up my own identity. It's really, really hard for me to feel comfortable, get to a place, again, because I have demon OE and demon DI. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to like actually get me all the way around the horn to be like, listen, I blasted the thing. That didn't solve my problem. I played with the tribe. We threw the ball back and forth. That still didn't do it. Fuck. All right, fine. Now I'm going to get curious. And the willingness of the EP lead consumes to start by being curious is extraordinary to me. It's just extraordinary. Because, and here's the other thing, as an IJ, I feel a visceral responsibility to organize anything I gather and to fit whatever experience I have into some sort of pre-existing framework, and to do so in a very deliberate way. And so a lot of my reluctance to gather is like, listen, if I have this experience, then I have to fucking tie it to something, and I have to do this work to be like, okay, here's this game that I'm playing. Here's this TV show I'm watching. If I gather this experience, I have to fit it into a pre-existing framework. Or, here's the thing, I'm perfectly happy making a new box for it. If it's like, you know what, this thing that I just consumed doesn't fit into anything that I already did, okay, I guess I just need to make a new box for it. I love it. I'm happy to do it, right? But I'm never going to gather something and feel comfortable just discarding it without at least trying to fit it into something. Like, I'm never going to, again, for me, it's sensory gathering or idea, whatever kind of gathering it is. I have this visceral need and responsibility. If I gather something, I got to funnel it down. And I got to put it somewhere. I have to put this idea, put this thing somewhere in my metaphorical closet. And if you look at my closet, I love a lot of the clothes that I have. Again, I've been, listen, COVID with the weight and the fitness, listen, we're trying. We are trying. But not so good. It happened. Happened to all of us. None of us are immune. But generally speaking, aesthetically, yeah, I like the vibe of my closet. I like these, like the dark red shirts. I got a couple of those. Got a couple of V-necks. I got some jeans I like. Whatever, boop and the bop. But I have a pretty full closet. And it's all clothes that I like and would wear. Obviously there's a triage. But I'm pretty comfortable wearing basically anything in my closet. And so if I gather something new, now it's like, well, okay, I got to find a hanger for it. Where is it going to go in the closet? Do I already have another shirt? Listen, I love this color. I love this brand. I have a shirt like this. I have a V-neck that's a similar color. Half the fucking shirts in my closet are some variant of dark red. I love it. That's my color. That's my jam. We're doing the thing. I don't need more of them. And I would do well to venture out a little bit, But then, again, there's the part of my brain that I just have to overcome. That's like, you already have... Do you really need... you have one green shirt and you like it a lot. Do you need 2? Well, I don't maybe I need to, you know what? We're good with the 1. Let's just wait, as opposed to just buying, getting something new. And it's not even a financial thing. That's what's fucking crazy, is that it's the curiosity muscle that I need to work on. And it's the curiosity muscle of, you know what? This could look good. Yeah, I could, sure, I might wear this sometime in the future. I don't know, but I like it. Seems to make sense. So let me just gather it for me, because it either TI makes sense to me or my FI likes it. And then if I have to discard, if I have to donate it, whatever, who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter. Because I was curious, it was worth the time and energy or whatever, money, to gather it. That was the point. The point was the curiosity, the gathering. And then the organization, listen, sometimes things are going to get organized. Sometimes they're not. That's just how it goes. And I'm like, that's wild to me. It's wild to me. And I see, here's where I can definitely see a place where I can learn from the lead consume EPs is the breadth of experiences that they have compared to me. I mean, it's not even close. Not even close. And sure, okay, it depends on the axis. Not every EP is going to be like, I've had 72 girlfriends in my life, and I've had 50 different jobs, and I've had this, whatever. Of course there's going to be some balance there. But on the whole, in terms of just having gathered experiences, I'm like, yeah, I'm just completely outclassed. And it's humbling, honestly. It really is humbling to watch a really adept lead consume EP just do things and just have ideas. And again, so like for me, right, so I'm coming at this problem from a lead NI, feminine NI at that, lead NI, demon SE perspective, right? Like that's the easiest paradigm for me to see. But the NEs will do this too. Obviously, anyone can go shopping. Anyone can buy clothes. That's not the point. But my lead NI, which is ridiculously feminine. Like if you spend more than 4 seconds with me, you're like, where the fuck are you? What is happening? And if you have, again, in all of these videos, you're like, this is a weird fucking tangent. Why are we on this tangent? And then I'll like loop it way around and you're like, that's where you were going the whole all right, fair enough. You fucking got me. Usually that's what happens, right? But it's really hard for me to entertain a thought or an idea just to have it. Just to be like, what if I joined the circus? Let me play with this idea in my head. Ooh, I could, yeah, how about that? This idea of like, I could da-da-da. That's tough, man. That's tough. And it's tough for 2 reasons for me as a lead blaster IJ. It's tough because the I part of it, that I'm already fucked up. Because I have single activated demon FI. So starting any sentence with I is a little uncomfortable. It just is. Unless it's like, I was hoping that you could do whatever. But starting a sentence with I and not having a you in there is weird. It's weird, and it like, I don't know. It just like feels viscerally a little uncomfortable. But again, Savior DI, they have no problem. They have no problem, generally speaking, acknowledging their identity. And I think that's fucking awesome. I really, really do. And when you pair that with could, when you pair that with possibility, when you pair that with this idea of the future is uncertain and isn't that amazing? I mean, now my mind is blown. I'm like, what? Oh my God, what is happening? How? Okay. And here's the thing. There are quite a few EPs in my life that have been in my life. And I'm a better person because of the EPs in my life. Full stop. And here's the other thing that I sort of alluded to in the IJ videos, but I want to make sure to, really put a fine point on it in the EP videos as well. Even the lead consume EPs are still double deciders. And I do feel like the lead consume EPs get a little bit of a bad rap. They get a little bit of a bad rap. I see a lot of lead consume EPs get called selfish a lot when that is completely unwarranted. So I'm about to defend the lead consume EPs and tell y'all why y'all are not as selfish necessarily as some people might say. So I think the biggest reason that lead consume EPs get called selfish, or why that is a stereotype of, many that at least that I have seen, is not because of the Savior DI. Because I know a lot of, weirdly, IPs, I feel like don't get called selfish as much because they are deciders. Because they're like, when they are selfish, right, or self-serving or whatever, it's so glaring, and it's like, oh, right, well, at least the IPs are making it about the tribe and the self, and when they do help, they're like, oh my God, I've only been thinking about myself. I need to think about others. And it's this big revelation, and they're very magnanimous about it, and it's amazing. And the EPs, I think, have it a little tougher because EPs and IJs, we're both double deciders. We're in the middle. So when we make a decision for ourselves, and when we make a decision to help the tribe, we're not all in on it. We're not like, oh my God, this is the biggest deal in the world. This is like, I am helping. Look at me. I help. I'm connecting with others. This is the fucking secret of human existence. We don't get like that. We don't naturally get like that. It's like, yeah, no, I'm going to help you. Sure, that's fine. Yeah, I will give you 60% of my energy. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Or on the flip side, and especially with the lead consume, observer, savior DI, when it's like, no, I think I'm just gonna, do this other thing. There's the great clip. He's an IJ, but this idea of weirdly seeming more selfish than he actually is Jerry Seinfeld. Because there's that great clip, it's in a bunch of class videos, you can find it, of Jerry Seinfeld and Kesha. So Jerry, he's an observer like us, right? He's got NI and TI as saviors. Double activated TI, whatever, but it's still in the middle. And you see Kesha come up to him, and she's like, oh my God, Jerry Seinfeld, I want to give you a hug. And he's like, no thanks. That's okay. I'm all right. And it feels really bizarre. You're like, dude, why are you being such a dick? Like, that's the vibe. Larry David, again, another another observer. Savior DI, even our good buddy Dave Superpowers got a little bit of that. And it's weird because the observers, the double deciders, we're just more casual about our interactions with the tribe and with ourselves, and sort of being pretty balanced about where we give our energy and where we preserve our energy. And it's like, all right, I'll do a little bit for you and a little bit for me. And yeah, that makes sense. Whereas when you have, a decider. So I'm thinking, again, this guy has not been typed. I don't know. But I think of a guy like Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco. Again, I have no idea what type he is. But he seems like he's got a lot of IP-ness about him. That's all I can prove. And when you see him talking about being selfish, right? And, doing his own thing. And there was so much drama with him and like fucking over his bandmates and doing his own thing. It was very strange. But him being like, there was a clip of him that I saw, and he was talking about how he used to go into the audience, and be really like connect with the crowd and hold people's hands, whatever. But then people started to like grope him and like touch his face and be really weird about it. So he made this whole video about like, listen guys, so this has been happening a lot, and I just want to be clear that like I won't be going into the audience anymore. This is a really difficult decision for me, but like I need to do right by myself, and I need to protect myself. And unfortunately, going into the audience, like so many of you are so nice, but some of you are not respectful of boundaries. And I understand that it's the environment, it's whatever, but like I need to do this for me. And he's very like decidery about it. Weirdly, that kind of selfishness, I think, gets a pass because when a person makes such a big deal out of it, they're like, wow, this must be really important to you, right? And with the EPs, it's like, yeah, I'm doing this for myself, and it's not a big deal. It's just, it feels weird, and people just miss all of the other times that the EP is generous and does do things for others and does connect with others in a play mode or a blast mode or a whatever mode, right? They miss that because of the casualness. And I'm going to be honest, I think that's unfair. And personally, I think it's pretty fucking awesome that the lead consume EPs are able oftentimes to pretty naturally balance the self and the tribe. And to be like, listen, I'm going to make sure that my cup is filled. Because I'm not any use to anybody if I'm giving from an empty cup. But once I do get my needs met, I am delighted to help you get your needs met. And if you watch the vast majority of the lead consume EPs over time, it'll be like decision for self, decision for self, decision for tribe, decision for tribe, decision for self, decision for self. All right, maybe we got a string of decisions for self, but then we'll come back and make decisions for the tribe, decision for the tribe, decision for the tribe. And I feel like a lot of people don't zoom out far enough on the EPs and the lead consume EPs, to be able to really see the breadth of the decisions they make. And again, especially as somebody who is a double decider, right? My TE and my FI are in the middle. My impulse is to tilt too far towards the TE side of things, especially because it's double activated. And so to watch somebody who is balanced but tilts a little bit more in the DI side of things, I'm like, you know what? Respect. Girl, do you. Do what you gotta do. So, I always end these videos with like, what can this particular type do to maximize their strengths? And, the math says, well, if you're lead consumed, then you need to blast. But like, what does that actually mean? Well, for me, again, as resident lead blaster, the thing that I have seen where the lead consumes really go off a cliff is every lead consume in any iteration is going to have don't control me bro vibes. Again, because we have the obligation to self and identity paired with the obligation to search, right? Searchers and settlers. EPs are the searchers. IJs are the settlers. Did I actually say that in the earlier thing about Castle Rock? I feel like I maybe didn't. To finish up the Castle Rock thing, there's a line about searchers and settlers. The IJs are the settlers. The EPs are the searchers. There's a yearning. There's the need for new, right? I always think of that Sarah Evans song, Born to Fly. First off, fucking banger of a song. If you have not heard Sarah Evans' Born to Fly, it's a great song and you should listen to it. But she's talking about like, I can't be stuck on this small town, farm. I love being surrounded by horses and my parents, but I'm a big city girl. I know that I was born to fly. And that's the feeling of the EP, where it's like they feel this sense of like they don't like to be tied down, which is great and fantastic. But what can manifest is they will, and have I seen this a lot. I've seen this in my personal life. I've seen this in my professional life, where you'll have an EP who has risen to the top of some organization because they do have really great fucking ideas and they aren't afraid to take risks and they are able to bet on themselves and work with the tribe and bet on themselves and do new things and whatever. But what can happen is if they assume that everyone around them is also an EP, they're fucked. They get blown out of the water. Because not everyone is an EP. Certainly not the IJs. Listen, if I'm an IJ, I love being blasted at. I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world. Because what that means, if someone is blasting at me, again, assuming they're not being a dick about it or they're not like unnecessarily loading the conversation with a lot of emotional energy that's completely irrelevant. But like, if they're just like, all right, listen, these are the rules, these are the expectations, I need you to do boom, boom, boom. I'm like, happy to do it. Or I'm like, you know what? I get it. I'm great with the first two. This last one, that's going to be tough. So can we work out a compromise? Can we do so, right? But I love when someone blasts some shit at me, I'm like, yeah, okay, great. At least I know what their expectations are of me. And then I can either fulfill them, or if I don't fulfill them, it's clear that I was supposed to. And a lot of times what can happen is if an EP is in a position of authority, they will often assume that, and again, this is true for every type, but it seems to be more evident in the EPs, that they'll say, well, I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to be told what to think. I want my curiosity to be able to roam free and unfettered. So therefore, I am going to extend that same courtesy to the people for whom I am responsible. And it really does come from an incredibly benign place most of the time. But the reality is if you are an EP in a position of authority, right? You're the head of a company, you are a middleman or whatever. By doing a little bit of blast and by giving marching orders to the people to whom you are responsible, because again, if you're an EP and you're climbing your way to the top of an organization or a friend group or whatever, people are going to start to look up to you whether you like it or not. Like, you will at some point become a role model. You just will. And when that happens, just, again, even doing a little bit of blasting and then saying, great, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for this, and I'm going to hold you to it. Great. Now go away so that I can do more consume shit. That's amazing. That's amazing. And now you really do get the best of both worlds. And again, like all of these videos, the trick to being able to do more of your saviors is to do a little bit of your demons. I firmly believe this. I got a lot of play energy. So as long as I do, the more sleep energy I do, the more sleep processing I do, the better I'm going to be at playing. And it's the same way with consume and blast. By giving the people around you, people that you care about, people that are in your DI box, a few clear directives of like, okay, I had an EP boss for many, many years, and finally it just got to the point where I was like, I can't work like this. And if this person had just gone, you know what? Every Tuesday at 11, we're going to have a meeting. It could be a half-hour meeting, could be 5 minutes, but I just want to make sure to check in with you once a week, see how things are going. I want you to give me a little bit of a report. And, because then, listen, the rest of the week, the rest of whatever, I'm going to be fluttering around and be doing this and that. I don't want to be doing whatever. But I am going to say that on Tuesdays at 11 is when we are slated to meet. And look, if they have to push it back an hour for whatever, that's fine. But having just that little bit enables the lead consume EPs to actually do the gathering that they want to do. So, lead consume EPs, y'all are fucking awesome. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. They just don't get it. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!